بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Okay, so I want to share a couple of things with you that will help you think about your future in Arabic studies. This course feels like being hit by a truck, okay? And it's supposed to. I want you to feel overwhelmed and hit really hard because the foundation comes in layers. So you're being exposed to these ideas. That doesn't mean by the end of 10 days you will master these ideas, right? But here's the magic. When these 10 days are done, because you had such a short amount of time to consume this information, right? And you actually are keeping up, even if you're not 100%, you're actually keeping up. You're able to answer things. You can't remember everything, but you can be reminded. You can say, oh, yeah, I get that, right? So the lack of confidence comes from, I don't remember 100%, which makes you start doubting yourself. But actually, that not remembering 100% is normal. The more important thing is, are you understanding what we're covering? And I feel like from the way I'm gauging your answers and your engagement, you're getting it as we go. Now, what happens is, when this class is over, your first assignment is actually going to be to watch the entire course over again in 10 days. Again, not over the course of a month or 2 months, in 10 days again. However, when you watch this course a second time in 10 days, it is going to not feel like you're getting hit by a truck. It's going to feel like you're getting hit by a tennis ball. The intensity is going to drop dramatically, and you're going to start noticing many parts of this are way easier the second time around. And then some parts of it are still a little bit hard, but not as hard as the first time, right? And you'll be able to identify exactly where your trouble spot is. There are thousands of you, between you guys and the people that are learning online. You have different trouble spots. You don't all have the same trouble spots. When you go through this a second time after this is over, you're going to be able to identify your trouble spots. And that's what you'll focus in on. That's what you'll zoom in on. That's what you will ask questions about. Okay? So, and inshallah, you'll have support from our end. So I'll provide you an email address where you can continue to ask questions, and a platform where you can continue to ask questions and get answers to your questions. Okay? But I want you to, even from now, early on, even though that's a later stage, from now, I want you to know something about helping our team and myself to be able to answer your questions better. If you say, Ustad, in lecture 1, at 35 minutes, you said something, can you explain it again? Then you're giving your teacher a homework assignment to go open the video and go to that, and then you're making them do the work. The teacher's job is not to do the work for you. The teacher's job is to answer your question. So you need to make the question as accessible as possible and say, here's a picture of something I don't understand. Or here's a concept I don't understand. Or am I understanding this correctly? You see what I'm saying? So the way you should learn to frame your question in a way that makes it easier for your teachers to get you the answers you need exactly. But the more you say, well, I don't understand gender. Can you explain it to me? You're not going to get support. You can't get support for that because you're saying repeat the class over again. But you say within gender, you said this, and this is the one thing I'm having trouble with. My advice to you as a student also is, when you start getting specific is when you start learning really well. So what that means is, okay, you talked about the concept of gender. Here are 3 words, and I tried to apply what I learned. Here's the answer I came up with. Here was my process. Am I wrong in this? And then the teacher can say, you were right here, here, here. Here you made this mistake, fix this. You see what I'm saying? So that way your teachers and the TAs can diagnose exactly what the problem is. But if you say, Ustad, there's so much information, what should I do? See a therapist. I don't know. I can't help with that question. Or a very common question is, Ustad, there's so much information. How are we supposed to remember all this information? How are we supposed to, retain all this information? Very common question. I'll tell you the answer. This is actually a secret. It was developed by the ancient Aztecs, and after that, the Mayans used to use this secret in their rituals. And somehow through some archaeological digs I did in Mexico, I discovered some ancient parchments that have this secret. It's called being a student and doing your review. How do you retain information? Have you ever asked that question to your math teacher or your science teacher or your English teacher or your history teacher? How do you retain information? Do you not know how to retain information? You've never retained information in your life? What happens when you get hit with a lot of information? What do? Review. Because you're part of an ancient cult called students that have been doing reviews since the dawn of humanity. So those kinds of questions, these are the kinds of grandmother responses you're going to get. Okay? Because how do I motivate? And if you say, how do I motivate myself? My recommendation is personal slaps in the mirror. That's my recommend. If you want, how do I motivate myself? You want me to help you motivate yourself? No, no. But the harder you slap, the more motivated you will feel. Tooth loss is recommended. Those are the kinds of answers you're going to get. So Arabic questions. Ask specific. Somebody asked a question about al-malaika and they couldn't understand how the gender words works on that word. So I'm going to review a little bit about gender with you guys because that seems to be a little bit fuzzy still. That's an outstanding issue. We went through it rather quickly, but I want to get down to the most practical every day when you're reading Quran. How are you going to get the gender quickly, right? So let me work through that with you from another angle. You've already had the class on gender where we don't talk about masculine, we only talk about feminine. And within feminine, we don't need to worry about, nobody's going to ask me a question, is Maryam masculine or feminine? If you do, you have a problem, right? So that's not a grammar problem, that's common sense. And I expect that from the ummah, even though that's a lot to expect sometimes. Okay, now, there's something called fake feminine, right? And you don't have to memorize all of the categories yet, not a big deal. Just know that certain words are feminine because what? The Arab said so. It is what it is. Thank you. Thank you. Because the Arab said so. And that's in these new and improved notes. It's page 13. I actually went off on Ustad Jawad. I said, I told everybody page 12, and you guys put it on page 13. I've been saying page 12 for 20 years because it was page 12, and you guys edited the document and made it page 13, and my world was shattered. So now I have to write the word 13 here. But yes, it's the Arab said so on page 30. That's just feminine. Those are just a handful of words, right? Now, other than that, what you're looking for 99% of the time, it's this guy. Is this guy. This guy makes a word feminine. That's what happens, okay? And then sometimes you see this guy. This is not a ya. That's not a ya. A ya has dots on the bottom in Arabic. Okay, in Farsi and in Urdu, the ya doesn't have to have dots on the bottom, and it's considered a ya. This is not considered a ya in Arabic. That's considered an alif maqsura. Say that for me. Alif maqsura. It's actually, in my script, I have a little bit of trouble, but there's a dagger on top of it floating, and alif is floating on top of it, I want you to imagine, okay? So nobody reads this as Musi. Everybody reads this as what? Musa. Musa, right? So that's an alif maqsura. This one can be feminine. This one can be feminine, but only if the word doesn't already have a real gender. So Musa, does it already have a real gender? So then that doesn't matter. And even the first one, even though this is not going to happen in the Quran really, if I say Talha, does it have a round ta at the end? Yeah, but Talha is a man's name or a woman's name. So it already has a gender. You give fake feminine to words if they don't already have a gender. If they don't, if they already have it, then you don't need to do that. Okay. There was one more letter. So there was this guy, there was this guy, and there's this combination at the end. It's called an alif mamduda. Alif with a oh, hey bird, thank you. It's my lunch. I didn't have lunch. No, it's not. It's a deal I'm working on. Don't worry about it. Okay. So the alif mamduda, I didn't tell you much about it. I'll just share just brief information. It's not every time you see it, it's feminine. It's actually in two cases. This one is in two cases, for colors or sicknesses. So if the word is a word for color, or if the word is a word for a sickness, then that ending, it's kind of pulled off to the corner. That ending actually means it's feminine. So for example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah talked about a yellow cow. Do you know that? Allah talked about a yellow cow, and a cow is masculine or feminine? So you notice it says صفراء. بقرة صفراء. فاقع لونها. So the yellow cow. And how do we know the word yellow is feminine? Because it has that stretched out. Okay. Now another word in Arabic, for example, this is not grammar you need to know. This is FYI, side information, right? Is for example the Arabic word for red is ahmar. Ahmar means red, but if something is feminine and red, they say hamra'u. Hamra'u. If it's, have you ever heard aswad? Aswad? What's aswad? Black. But if something feminine is black, they say sawda'u. Sawda'u. If something masculine is black, it's aswad. If something feminine is black, it is sawda. If something masculine is green, it's akhdar. Akhdar. But if something feminine is green, it's khadra'u. Khadra'u. Similarly, if something masculine is yellow, it's asfar. Asfar. But if something feminine is yellow, like a cow, it becomes safra'u. Or abyad. Abyad means white. Abyad means white. And something feminine that's white is bayda'u. Bayda'u. So that's why I mean that stretched out alif is for colors. Colors that are feminine. Or describing something that's feminine. Another, I told you sicknesses, right? So you have the word abkam. Abkam in Arabic means a mute person, a person who can't speak, doesn't have the ability to speak. That's a man or a boy who cannot speak. He's called what? Abkam. A woman who cannot speak is called a bakma'u. Bakma, they flipped it and they put a'u at the end, right? Bakma'u. Then you have asam. You may have heard summun, bukmun, umyun before, right? It's similar. That's a plural for this. The plural of asam is summun. The plural of abkam is bukmun. The plural of a'ma is umyun. Those are plurals, okay? Anyway, asam means someone who cannot hear. So a deaf person is called asam. A woman who cannot hear is called samma'u. Samma'u. So that's the male versus female now, right? Isn't it? That's why I said that stretched alif can be a sign of what? Feminine. A'raj. A'raj is someone who has like a defect in their leg, or they have a limp in their walk. This a'raj. Can someone guess what a female that has a limp? Good, yeah, you guys getting it. Arja'u. That's a arja. A woman that has that is arja'u. Okay, a'ma is a blind person, and amya'u is a female who's blind. Amya'u. Like Surah Abba says, anja'ahul a'ma. Was that a man or a woman that came that's blind? If it said anja'athu al-amya'u, that would have been what? A female that was blind. So these letter endings actually, the thing I want you to remember practically when you're studying Quran, you're not going to come across this a lot of times. This is interesting information, but practically this is going to happen maybe even not even 1% of the time. What are you going to run into most of the time? Two things. One, you're going to run into this guy, and two, you're going to run into broken plurals. That's what's going to happen most of the time. So how do you tell something is feminine, or where does the feminine discussion become relevant? Most of the time, these two issues. So if you're good with these two, and the second one isn't even an issue for you yet, because without vocabulary, you can't tell. You can't tell. So that'll be case by case. Okay? And that's it. That's all you and if you don't find these two, you can make a decent, educated guess that the word is probably masculine. You can, maybe you'll get it wrong some of the time, but most of the time you'll be right. And that's okay. Right now, you don't have to be right 100% of the time. You want to get practical, kind of running with it. And then as you run into more complicated issues, we'll deal with that when the time comes, okay? So that's a little bit about gender. We finished the semester day before yesterday on the 4 properties of an ism. And then I started a new semester and I gave it a name. Do you remember what the name is? It's called 5 fragments. And fragment number 1 is the idafa, which is made up of 2 parts. Mudaf, which is light, no al, and the mudaf ilay, which is what? Mudaf ilayh, which is jar. And they have to be, the few things you know is they have to be next to each other, right? They both have to be isms. They both have to be isms, right? And what do you mostly get in a meaning between them? Of. And the only additional thing you learned is pronouns at the end of an ism are always mudaf ilayh. They're always mission impossible. Okay? Am I? That's what you basically got out of that discussion. That's your first fragment. Very common fragment in the Quran. Very, very common fragment in the Quran. Multiple idafas are in the Fatiha. In fact, surahs that you know, like قُلْ أَعُوذُ bi what? Rabbin Nas. If you pay attention to Rabbin Nasi, Rabbi is light, yes? Doesn't have al. Looks like mudaf. The word an-nasi is jar. So the master of the people, the master of all people. And then it says, the ayah says, Malikin Nasi, doesn't it? Notice Malik is also light, no al, and Nas followed by, is following jar, mudaf ilayh again. What's the next part of it? What's the next ayah? Ilahin Nasi, do you see the same formula? Mudaf ilayh, light, no al, followed by jar. Same thing happened again. What about min sharri? Sharri al-waswasi. Sharri al-waswasi. Does that look like a mudaf ilayh? Sharri looks like it's light, doesn't have al. Al-waswasi is jar. Again, a mudaf ilayh. Alladhi yuwaswisu fi suduri an-nasi. Does that look like a mudaf ilayh? Yeah. Light, no al, followed by jar. This is a very, very common structure that you find throughout the Quran. Okay? Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi what? Ashabi al-fili. What do you think? Do you see a mudaf ilayh? Yeah. ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. No more. Okay, now, I made you memorize. So that's our first fragment called idafa. Our second fragment is called jar majroor. Jar majroor. That's the name. Let me tell you what jar means. Jar is the term they use for the harf of jar. Someone who jarifies is called a jar. Someone who memorizes is called a hafiz. Someone who does hajj is called a hajj. Someone who jars is called a jar. So the harf of jar are all jar because what do? They jarify. And someone who gets jarified is called a majroor. The one who gets jaralized is called majroor. So the ba, do you know these? Ba, ta, do you know these? Ba, okay. Do you know these? Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila, right? These are your jar. These are your what? Jar. We got 2 names for them. You can call them harf of jar. You can also call them jar. Their victim, the guy they make into jar, that's called the what? Majroor. They're the jar, that's the majroor. Jar, majroor. You got it? So yes, question? Yeah, jar is, yes, very good question. So what's the difference between jar and jar, right? So jar is the state. The state. There's a state of jar, there's a state of nasb, and there's a state of rafa'. That's the state. Jar is the one that creates that state. The one that causes that state. Okay, so jar is the the one who creates that state. So these harf create that state after them, don't they? So that's why they're not called jar, they're called jar. They create the state of jar. Create that state. State. Okay? So, let's do, once again, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Do you see a jar? Where's the jar? The B, that's harf jar. That's a jar. Two names for it. Harf jar or jar. Then what's the majroor? Rabb. Rabbi, because it became majroor. It's jar. When something becomes jar, it's called majroor. Okay? Okay, then the Rabbi is mudaf. And the nasi is, so you've got a jar majroor, and you've got a mudaf ilayh, all quickly, all together, don't you? Two things working with each other. Watch this one. Min sharri al-waswasi. Yeah? Is min a jar? Every time I ask, you say, yes it is, and let me prove it. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, wow. Min is a jar. Sharri would be the majroor. Then sharri is the mudaf, and al-waswasi is mudaf ilayh. Your question? Again? Yes. Has to be an ism. Very good question. Does a jar, meaning a harf of jar, need an ism right after it? Absolutely. Every one of them wants a what? An ism. Ba wants an ism. Ta wants an ism. Kaf wants an ism. They want an ism. Yes. If it's not an ism, then it's not a jar. It must be something else. You got confused. You know, sometimes you're like, oh my God, it's you. And you tap their shoulder and you're like, is there someone else? I'm like, sorry, you're not jar. Yeah. You look like him though. You look like him. It doesn't always have to be continued with mudaf ilayh. Good question. Let's try this. What if I say a'udhu billahi minash shaitani? Minash shaitani. We say this all the time, don't we? Do you see a jar majroor here? Where's the jar? The ba. What's the majroor? No, not Allah. The word Allah. The word Allah. And then, is there another jar? Where's the other jar? Min. And what's the other majroor? Ash-shaytani. Is the next word, the majroor, is that also a mudaf this time? No, it doesn't have to be. That's a separate problem. You know how in math sometimes you have an equation or a problem that has multiplication and addition? And sometimes it's just multiplication, and sometimes it's just addition. It's like that. Sometimes it's just jar majroor, and that's it. Life is easy. Sometimes it's jar majroor, followed by mudaf ilayh, followed by something else. It kind of stringing. Let me show you a really cool string of words in the Quran. Dhikru rahmati rabbika. Okay, this is in the beginning of Surah Maryam. Look at dhikru and tell me if that looks like a mudaf. Proof? What's the proof? Light no al. Good. Does rahmati qualify as a mudaf ilayh? How? Because the E tells you in rahmati that it's jar. Okay. Does rahmati itself look like a mudaf? Yeah, because it's also light no al. Does the word rabbi after that look like a mudaf ilayh? Rabbi. That jar? Rabbi, you're not sure, Rabbi? If it was rafa', what would it be? If it was nasab, what would it be? Rabba. If it's jar, what would it be? Looks like it's a mudaf ilayh. Okay. Rabbi itself is light and no al, yes or no? Is ka after that? What kind of word is ka? Okay, if it's an attached pronoun, we had some questions yesterday. We used that process. So when you see an attached pronoun, you gotta tell me, where'd you come from, ka? Anta. What does anta mean? You. So, and the attached version can only be what status? What did we say? It could be nasab or jar. But if it has a mudaf, it has to be the mudaf إليه. A pronoun at the end of an ism is a مضاف إليه. So that means ذكر is مضاف and رحمتي is مضاف إليه. رحمتي is مضاف and ربي is مضاف إليه. And ربي is also مضاف and then ka is مضاف إليه. Here's the Snickers question. Sorry, internet, you can eat spiritually. Huh? I know somebody came ask me for the Snickers. I owe them. They'll come back. Yes. This is yesterday. I brought extra. Here you go, sir. Congratulations. Okay. Good job. Okay. Here's another Snickers. I want to know the 4 properties of dhikru. And I don't just want the answer. I want an explanation. 4 properties of dhikru with an what's your name? Saad? Saad, can somebody give Saad the mic? Where's my tennis aids? Saad, come on. Dhikru. Saad, raise your hand, Saad. There you go. Yes.
The status of zikru is rafa.
Why?
Because it is the sound u.
Oh, okay.
And the number is 1 because from the table it comes from the first.
Good enough.
The
Singular.
gender is masculine because it comes from the masculine table. The lighter version. And it also
that's not a good answer. That's not a good. The gender is not a good answer. I need a better answer for gender.
It does not also have a ta marbuta, no sign of femininity.
That's better. It's no sign of feminine. Good.
The type is.
Remember, it doesn't have al, so it's probably common.
Common.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna eat that myself. Thanks, Saad. Thank you, Saad. Next, anybody
So it
else?
goes to-
I just want type now. Saad, yours. I'll come to your question. It's my time to ask questions. Yes, young lady, under the camera. Come on. Ready for the mic? What's your name?
Hafsa,
Hafsa, how old are you, beta?
10.
10. Let's do this. Is dhikru proper or common?
Common.
Common. Good. Next person. Ali Ahmed is itching. He knows something. He knows something. That's why I'm not going to pick him because it's hurting him so much to not be able to say it. Let's see. Lady side. Okay. Wait, don't call it out. What's the point of raising your hand if you're going to call it out? I don't care about your question right now because I'm the one asking the question right now. So I'm sure you have a question, but it is not important right now. My question is important right now. Yes, right under the camera. Go. Naim, go. What you got? Naim.
Dhikru is mudaf because it's light and no al.
Right.
Rahmati is mudaf ilayh because it's jar. It's also mudaf because it's light and no al. Rabbi is the mudaf ilayh for that because it's jar. Rabbi is also the mudaf because light no al, and ka is jar, so that's the mudaf ilayh.
Good.
And because ka is proper,
Why is that proper?
because all pronouns are proper.
Oh,
So Rabbi is proper.
because of ka, Rabbi is proper?
Yeah.
Sure.
So because of Rabbi, Rahmati is proper. And because of Rahmati, Dhikru is proper.
That's an explanation. That's a future teacher right there. Come on, Naim, come on. No. Naim, I have him doing this cardio for a reason. Okay. All right. You see what happened there, Saad? Are you sad about it? Are you sad about it? See what I did? Okay. No, actually, my real question was about type, because I explained everything else anyway. And we must have a Snickers. You remind me of a family I met in Portugal. I would look for a halal place to eat in Portugal. I was there for a week, and I found a spot. I went there. It was a Pakistani restaurant, sat there and eat, and there was this other family sitting there, And I'm just they're talking to each other. And I don't know what language it was. But it's one of the South Asian languages. I think it was Gujarati or something, whatever. So they're sitting and talking. They finish their food. They get the bill, and the old lady goes, "I only had half this Sprite. I will pay half." That's awesome. You remind me of that lady. Okay. Okay. So our first fragment, once again, was idafa. Our second fragment is jar majroor. Jar majroor. All over the Quran. All over the Quran. In Alhamdulillahi, lillahi is a jar majroor. Bata kaf lam. In Bismillahi, bismi is a jar majroor. Just a couple of quick additions to jar majroor. Some of the words in jar majroor end with ah. Some of them end with like ala and ila, for example. Ala and ila. Sometimes when you use ala and ila, they sound like alay and ilay. They don't sound like ala and ila. What do they sound like? Alay and ilay. But they're still ala and ila. You learned your pronouns, yes? Okay, if I say min, let me use two of them. I'll use min and I'll use ila, okay? If I say minhu, do you think that's a jar majroor? If I just said minhu, is it made up of two parts? One of them is a harf of jar, that would be the jar. What's the hu part? Attached or original? Attached one can only be nasab or jar. If it's only nasab or jar, which one is it right now? How do you know it's definitely jar? It cannot be nasab. Because it's beat up by a... Okay, min means from. Min means what? What does minhu mean? Okay, what does min huma mean? Huwa huma, right? Min huma. What does min huma mean? What does min hum mean? From them. What does min ha mean? Because hiya becomes ha. What does min hunna mean? From them. Who can tell me how do you say from you to one guy? From you. Minka. Minka. How do you say from both of you? Min kuma. How do you say from all of you? Antum becomes kum, so use min kum. How do you say to one girl from you? Minki. How do you say from all of you ladies? Min kunna. Min kunna. How do you say from me? Minni. 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 Okay? Minnie Mouse. How do you say from us? Minna. From us. Minna. Okay? Allah says, for example, Rahmatan minna. That's what Allah says. What does He mean by Rahmatan minna? Ar-Rahma? From us. From us. Minna. Okay? All right, let's try ila. What did min mean? From. Ila means to. Ila means what? To. Okay. What if I said ilayhi? Ilayhi. Remember, when you attach it, it becomes ilayhi sometimes. Okay? So ilayhi. What do you think it means? Ilayhi. To. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to Allah and to Him we return. To Him. Ilayhi raji'un. To both of them. Ilayhi. Ilayhima. To all of them. Ilayhim. To her. Ilayha. If you're not getting what I'm doing, I'm using page 18. I'm using the harf of jar with page 18. The attached versions is all I'm playing with. I just keep attaching them to a harf of jar. That's all I'm doing. Ilayha. How do I say to both of those women? To both of those women. Ilayhima or huma is okay in some qira'at. And then ilayhinna. Hinna. Okay? How do I say to you? Ilayka. How do I say to both of you? Ilaykuma. How do I say to all of you? Ilaykum. How do I say to you, one lady? Ilayki. Anti ki. How do I say to all you ladies? Ilaykunna. Ilay, there's no kinna. They don't have two versions, it's just kunna. How do I say to me? This is tricky because it already has a ya, and then you want to add another ya. So what the Arabs came up with is this, ilayya. They fused them together and they made it say what? Ilayya. Ilayya means what? To me. Ilayya, to me. How do I say to us? Ilayna. Ilayna. Let's try a couple more. Bi means with. How do I say with him? Bihi. How do I say with both of them? Bihima. How do I say with them? Bihim. How do I say with her? Biha. How do I say with both of those ladies? Bihima. How do I say with them ladies? Bihinna. How do I say with you? Bika. With both of you. Bikuma. With all of you. Bikum. With you, one lady. Biki. With both of you ladies. Bikuma. With all of you ladies. Bikunna. How do I say with me? Come on, come on. It's sweet as honey. B. Okay, good. B. And how do you say with us? Bina. Bina. Okay? Okay, one last one. Ala. Ala means, so what did min mean? Do you remember? Min meant from. Ila meant to. And bi means with. Ala means on. Ala means what? On. Okay, how do I say on him? Alayhi. 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 So you remember huwa becomes who or he? Do you remember that? You notice I'm not saying alayhu, I'm saying alayhi. Here's a simple thing. They came out with this at a barbecue many thousands of years ago. Alayhi makes you smile, doesn't it? Alayhi. And if you're smiling, then use the smiley version, he. Because if you say who, that's a bad mood. So they have to have a mood swing. Alayhi. Too much work? So what do? Alayhi. Even though there are qira'at of the Quran where some tribes used to read alayhu. So there are, you might hear an imam recite غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهُمْ. In some qira'at that's accepted, but in the Hafs reading and the Qurayshi dialect generally, it's alayhim. Alayhim or alayhi. Okay, so alayhi on him. Alayhi on him. When we say a prophet's name, any prophet's name, Yaqub, what do we say after that? Alayhi salam. On him be peace. Alayhi as-salam. If there were two prophets and I wanted to say maybe peace be on both of them, what would I say? Alayhima. Alayhim as-salam. Alayhim as-salam. If I wanted to talk about a lot of prophets and say salam on them, what would I say? Alayhim as-salam. Alayhim as-salam. If I wanted to talk about Maryam and say salam on her, alayha as-salam. Alayha as-salam. Question? Right. We're using hima because it sounds nicer with alayhi. Alayhim. Yeah. And we were like, so we used it with be, we used be him because it sounds nicer with be. But when I used min, I didn't say min him. I said min hum. Yeah? And the good thing is you don't have to discover which one to use. The Quran is very well scripted for you. So you know which one, and you get used to which ones are used. So it's not a discovery you have to do, right? Anyway, so I was at alay, and I want to say those women. May peace be on those women. Alayhinna salam. Okay. You want to say salam to one person. May peace be on you. Alayka. Assalamu alayka. Ayyuhan Nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You want to say salam to two people. What do you say? Assalamu alaykuma. You want to say salam to a bunch of people. What do you say? So when I meet you, I say Assalamu alaikum because clearly you have multiple personality disorder and I want to talk to all of you at the same time. Why do we do that? Because there's you and there's angels. Then, because you're a believer, Allah says, Yusilu alaykum hafadha. Allah sends guardian angels on you. So there's the presence of multiple angels. We don't know how many, at least 2 that are assigned, but many more. And we acknowledge the presence of all of them. And we say, Assalamu alaykum, which is a pretty cool way of recognizing that this conversation is being recorded. Isn't it? Because when the camera is on, people act differently, don't they? Right? So the moment you say Assalamu alaikum, you're like, Assalamu alaikum. And you're like also, Assalamu alaikum, salam, all of you guys. Okay, I better be careful. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, the question is, At-tahiyatu lillah, wa salawat, wa tayyibat, Assalamu alayka, ayyuhan nabi. Assalamu alayka. What does alayka mean? Upon you. So we're doing a tahiyyat and we say salam on to the Prophet ﷺ as if we're talking to him. But clearly he's not there, so how are we talking to him? My understanding of this subject is pretty straightforward, it's very easy, it doesn't create any controversies. Here's the thing. I have my late grandmother, right? She used to make parathas for me. She was really good. She could make 30 parathas in 30 seconds, I believe. I don't know, I just turn around and there's like a stack. Because the entire extended family, she used to make these parathas for them, okay? She passed away many years ago. And sometimes I'm just driving and I miss who? Not the parathas. No, not the parathas. I miss my grandma. So what's wrong with you? So I'm driving and just the thought of grandma comes in my head, right? And as I'm driving, I just say, Grandma, I miss you. I'm in the car by myself. I'm in the car by myself, and I just say, what, Grandma? I miss you. Is my wife going to turn to me and say, do you actually believe she's here? Do you believe in ghosts? Should I believe in ghosts? Is she a jinn? What's going on? What should I believe? Is that what I meant? When you feel emotionally attached to someone, when you feel love for someone, you can speak to them even when they are not physically there. It's an expression of your intimate closeness and love to them. You don't have to turn this into a theological crisis. It is an expression of your love for your Prophet, alayhi salatu wassalam. So you can say what? Alayka. You can totally say that, and it's completely fine. It doesn't have to become, oh my God, you just said the Prophet is there. And no, it's alayka. It's out of love. Language isn't about science. Language is not technical. Language is organic. It lives. It has emotion. It has spirituality. It has meaning more than just science textbooks. Science textbooks write material without any human element. It's just data. But human beings don't speak in scientific language. Human beings speak in living, spiritual language. You can say to me, you broke my heart. That's scientifically impossible. I didn't do that scientifically. But that's a reference to something emotional. Or an old lady says, my grandchildren have stolen my heart. They haven't literally stolen her heart. It's a language of emotion, right? So that exists in all languages, and especially we should be mindful of how the Quran speaks, or even in the Sunnah literature, how we speak of these things. And people just try to get too literal and then too crazy with things. So that's just my 2 cents on it. Anyway, so alaykum. How do I say on me? Good. That's why wassalamu alayya. Wassalamu alayya, Isa alayhi salam says. Okay? Yawma wulidtu wa yawma amutu wa yawma ub'athu hayya. Salamu alayya. May peace be on me. Okay? Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Wassalamu alayna. What does that mean? Also, may peace be upon us. May peace be upon us. Alayna. Wa ala. Ala harf what? Harf what? So ibadu, ibada, or ibadi? Ibadillahi. Ibadi, Allah. What kind of grammar is ibadillahi? Mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Look at that. Upon us and upon the slaves of Allah. Upon us and upon the slaves of Allah. Harf of jar is clear. Harf of jar is just one of those. Whatever follows becomes jar. What follows could be a pronoun. If it's a pronoun, it becomes jar. If it's any other ism, it becomes jar. How do I say with Maryam? This is a Snickers question. With Maryam. Which one of you had raised your hand before? You had already answered before, right? Anybody? Anybody really scared? Yes. Mu, ma, mi, mun, man, min. What you want to do with Maryam? Okay, so be Maryami. What's your name? Sultana, is Maryam Arab? She's not Arab. You remember what we said about non-Arabs? Take the mic, it's okay. What do we say about non-Arabs? If you don't remember, I'll tell you.
Okay.
We said they are kind of limited. So when we say them in Rafa, we say U. When we say them in Nasb, we end with A. And when we end them in Jar, we still end with A. Since she's a foreigner, what should I do? Yes. I'll still give you a Snickers.
Oh.
Good job. For bravery. Be Maryama. Everybody clear on this? Okay. On Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. On Muhammad, who's got this? Yes, young man. Tell me your name. Rayan, Raifi, do your jab. Rayan, raise your hand. How do you say on?
على
Good job.
so على محمد
Good job. It wasn't a Snickers question, but it was a really good job. That hurt a little bit, I know. Ala Muhammadin. I'm not just giving them away like that. It's gonna make it a little painful first. Ala Muhammadin. Everybody clear about harf jar? You know I made you memorize 11 of them, right? Say them for me so I feel better about myself. I feel like I accomplished something. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Good job. Just one complication that I just want you to be aware of. I'm not going to tell you all of their meanings. You will get them over the top. Instead of loading them all at once, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in giving you a list of vocabulary and then you memorize it, because you'll forget it as quickly as you memorize it. But as we go and I say, hey, this means this, and then I say it again, and then I say it again, and then I say it again, it starts what? Settling in. Min is from, min is from, min is from. You'll hear it over the course of the next few days. Min will just become from. You see? It's far more natural that way. But I do want you to know one thing. How many people here know Surah Al-Asr? Surah Al-Asr, okay? So how does it begin? Wal-Asri. Wal-Asri. So the waw means what? Harf jar. Harf jar. There's another waw. You find it in the Quran. Wallahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. Okay? Wallahu. There's a waw that made the next word jar. There's a waw that did not make the next word jar. You know what that means? There's different kinds of waw. There's a waw that's a member of this group, and there's his twin who's not a member of this group. And how can you tell which one's a member and which one's not a member? The one that is a member will make the next word jar. The one that's not a member doesn't care. You could put jar after me, nasab after me, rafa after me. I don't care. I don't really do that kind of stuff. I'm just a neutral waw. Okay? Now the one that's neutral means and. The one that's neutral means and. Not the member of this elite group. What's the elite group? The jar, the harf jar. Not that one. The one other than that, like wallahu, just means what? And Allah, something, something, something. That just means and. This other waw that comes with jar means I swear by. I swear by. And if you're forgetting that, just remember your Arab friends who talk to you all the time and say what? Ah, they use this cult member. Wallahi, wallahi, bro, wallahi. Wallahi, I love ice cream. Wallah, wallah, wallahi. Okay? So the wow that makes jar is the wow of I swear to God, or I swear by time, or I swear watini, wazaytuni, washamsi, waduhaha, wallayli idha yaghsha, right? Kalla walqamari, والصبح إذا أسفر والليل إذا أدبر. Okay, so many wows that are in the Quran, like والعاديات ضبحا. Those are all I swear by, I swear by, I swear by, I swear by. Okay. والشمس also, yeah. Huh? والنجم إذا هوى, yeah. والنجم إذا هوى. Okay. What I want you to do to understand this wow better, how the Quran uses it, listen to any of my lectures on any of the surahs that begin with a wow. Right? Either والنجم or والتيني or والعصر, and I will give you a detailed lecture on what the wow does, what the point of it is. Okay? Now you know its grammar, but I want you to know its rich meaning. You can listen to my lectures on Surah Al-Asr or Surah Al-Najm, anyone, and I've talked about that because I want those ideas to be reinforced. Okay? So that's a little bit about the wow. Not every time you see wow, you say harf jar. That was the point I wanted to make, yeah? Okay. Now I'm going to tell you another thing. One was idafa. I'm not going to get tired of writing that. Two was what? Jar, majroor, which is basically harf jar and its victim. And they must also be together. And this one, idafa, must also be what? Together. Now we get to number 3 before our break, which is going to be harf of nasb. Harf of nasb and its ism. Harf of nasb and its ism. In my notes, I call it harf of nasb and its victim, but I'm trying to get you used to more technical language. I'm doing things a little differently this course. Harf of nasb and its victim. Repeat after me. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Again. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. 4 of them, yeah? Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Who would like to give me some dictation? Tell me on the mic. Naim, get somebody. Where's Naim? Why are you taking a break every time? Stay on standby. Come on, boy. Come on. Somebody sent me a message. Why is there no partition between the brothers and the sisters? I am the barzakh. Like, go ahead, anybody? Okay, go ahead. Let's hear it. No, wait. Yes. Wait, not in the form of a question, in the form of an answer. No, inna? No.
Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna.
Very good. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. Okay, that was very good. Let's try somebody else. Yes, over there. Raifi, go. What's your name? Abdullah. Ya Abdullah. أسمعنا يا عبد الله.
Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna.
Allahu Akbar. Oof, that was such authority. I was like, my iman increased just hearing that. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. It's such gravitas. Okay. All right, we're not done. This part was easy. What was it? Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. And you thought we were done. Layta, lakinna, la'la. Now we're done. ليت لكن لعل ليت لكن لعل ليت لكن لعل ليت لكن لعل 5 times ليت لكن لعل ليت لكن لعل ليت لكن لعل one more ليت لكن لعل the first 4 end with أن إن أن كأن بأن the next 4 start with an L three L's ليت لكن لعل easy way to remember 4 and 3 yeah it's like a phone number okay so let's do this إن أن كأن بأن ليت لكن لعل إن أن كأن بأن ليت لكن لعل wait my question first إن I heard Inna anna ka'anna bi anna inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That's Later lakinna la'alla. Who's got all 7? All 7. Flawless victory. Yes, go ahead. First row. Let's do it.
Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
All 7.
Okay, yeah.
Layta, lakinna, la'alla.
Okay, very good. Nerves of steel. Very nice. Yes, young man. What's your name again? Ayan? Ayan? There's Rayan and Ayan. I shall remember now.
Inna anna ka'anna bi'anna layta lakinna la'alla.
Wow, I have passed this along. I need 3 more people. 3 more young at heart, not young at heart. I just don't want to hear from kids in this class. I want to hear if you have some color on your beard. Lena? There's a Lena? That's a typo. I don't do typos. Books do typos. Yes, you look like you're upset, so I'm going to pick you. Yes, you. Now you're smiling. Go, give it to him. What's your name, sir?
محمد.
Muhammad. تفضل يا محمد.
إن أن كأن بأن ليت لكن لعل.
Okay, when you paused, was he doing waswasa to you? Because you're inna annaka anna, and you're like, and all of a sudden, الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس, like, that's why you have the sons with you. Okay, good family support. I had students before who would like, I knew they weren't paying attention in class, and I would pick on them on purpose when I was doing the full-time program. And I would pick the student that's struggling, but next to them is a student who knows their answers. And they're trying to give sadaqah, right? So you know what they would do? This is the best thing. The student who's trying to answer is like, and the person next to them puts their head down and says, Inna, Anna, Bi Anna. Like I'm not gonna notice that they're like, just say Bi Anna. Just do it. Anyway, okay. One more on this side. Are there any grandmothers in the class? Are there any grandmothers in the class? Okay, grandmas. Yes.
Inna anna ka'anna bi'anna layta lakinna la'alla.
Very nice. MashaAllah. 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 Any grandfathers in the class? You are definitely not Ali Ahmed, a grandfather. Potential, though. Potential. Any grandpas in the class? Any grandfathers? Grandfathers? Come on. Don't be scared. It's okay. Okay, fathers. I'm going to make it one generation down. You're laughing a lot. I like you. I'm going to take that smile off your face. Let's go. Raifi, over here. Look at this man's happiness. Take it away from him. Yes.
Inna anna kanna min anna.
Bi anna.
Mi anna.
Bi anna.
Mi anna.
Not Myanmar. That's somewhere else. Bi anna.
Bi anna, sorry.
Yes, I forgive.
Laita Lainna,
lakinna,
lainna,
lakinna,
lainna,
lakinna.
lakinna,
Okay? That's okay.
la'alla.
La'alla. Okay, we got through it. We got through it. We threw in a little bit of Myanmar in there, but it was still good. Still good. One more, lady side. Come on. Who's got it? Okay, you raise your hand, young man. So the person next to you. You like that, right? You like that. That's you learn new forms of psychological torture when you're teaching. Go ahead.
Inna, Anna, Ka'anna.
Don't look at your
Bi'anna.
child. Children, don't look at your mom.
Yeah.
Don't look at her. Look away. Look this way.
Lakinna.
Whisper, whisper. Come on.
La'alla.
La'alla. Okay, good. I'll take it as a family response. Okay. Everybody together. Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla. What are these guys called? Harf of? I'm going to let you guess what their only job in life is. They make the next word, their ism becomes nasab. Their ism becomes nasab. They're the harf of nasab, and their ism becomes nasab. So if you see in the Quran, you'll find this quite a bit. You'll find Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Inna Allah ha. Or the word Allah, rafa' would be Allahu. Jar would be Allahi. But what do we find with inna? Inna Allah. Or Allah will say, Innal muttaqina. Innal muttaqina. What is this? Al muttaqina. Is that an ending sound or a combination? That's a combination, isn't it? Ina, ina. You learned on day one that ina could be what? Nasab, or today you know for sure. If it's with inna, it's definitely nasab. If it's with fi or min or bi from the harf of jar, it's definitely what? Jar. If it's after a mudaf, which means it's a mudaf ilayh, so it's definitely what? So 3 days ago, we used to say, I don't know. It could be nasab and it could be jar. But now we have 3 things that can tell us, hey, these 2 make it jar, this one makes it nasab, right? So the mudaf makes it jar, the harf of jar makes it jar, and the harf of nasab makes it nasab. You with me? Okay, so these are the harf of jar. They're very, very common in the Quran. They should be on page 28 in your notes, or 26. Let's see, let's make sure. Yep, 28. Okay, they got that one right. Okay. The previous page has the harf of nasab, or harf of jar rather. You have inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna. And on the other side you have layta. The layta is mistyped. It says layna. Layna is not a word. So we got to fix that. That should be written like this. I will write it for you. I don't know how you're going to write this because I don't trust your Arabic handwriting, but put something there. Layta. It shouldn't say layna, it should say layta. Okay. Layta, lakinna, la'alla. These are called the harf of what? Nasb. I'm going to take one of them, very common one, or 2 of them. I'll use inna, which means for sure, and I'll take lakinna, which means however. South Asians know both of these words. Inna, everybody knows from the Quran, is famous. Lekin, we Urdu speakers use lekin. It's originally taken from the Arabic, lakinna. We borrowed it. They don't take it from us, we take it from them. That's how that works. Okay? So let's do inna. And let's do it with the pronouns, because the pronouns are tougher. What is the original pronoun? Huwa. And then huma, and then hum. Okay, I'm going to use inna with each of them. But inna is a harf of nasab, which means I have to make the pronouns nasab. And if I make them nasab, I can't use the originals, I have to use the attached. So how do I use it with inna? The first one, inna what? Innahu. The second one, innahuma. The third one, innahum. Yeah? Innahu means certainly he. Innahuma means certainly both of them. Innahum means certainly they. Okay, then there's hiya, huma, hunna, isn't it? Let's try it with hinna. Or with inna? What do I say? Innaha. What does that mean? Certainly she. For sure, she. Okay. Certainly both of them women. Innahuma. And certainly those women. Innahunna. Innahunna. You got it? Okay. Then what were the next three pronouns? Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Then what? Anta, antuma, antum. Okay, so certainly you. Innaka ala kulli shay'in qadir. Certainly both of you. Innakuma. What does that mean? Certainly both of you. How do I say all of you? For sure, all of you. Innakum. Innakum. Cool, huh? Now, let's try anti, antuma, and antunna. Okay? What do you guys say? Anti? Ki. Good. Antuma? Guma. And all of you ladies, for sure, you ladies. What page am I using all the time for this? Page 18. And I want page 18 sitting in your head, just like 6 was sitting in your head, so you can pop these out. 6 and 18 are like pillars of this building. People say, what else am I going to do? What else am I going to learn? Homie, the pillars are weak. You build a tower on top of these buildings, it's going to what? It's going to crash. But like, you should be so good at the pronouns. I'm telling you, there are students that study Arabic for 2-3 years. Their Muslim chart is weak, and their pronouns are weak, and they're still weak in Arabic. They still bust up mistakes. And a student that has studied Arabic for 3 months, but their foundation is strong, is superior to a student who's been learning Arabic for 2 years, and their pronouns and their status is weak. Between harf of jar, harf of nasab, pronoun, and status, these 4 are already a huge foundational pillars of the Arabic language. You're good at this, you're good at Arabic. You're bad at this, you're bad at Arabic. Hands down. You got to know the meanings of the pronouns. You got to know the status of the pronouns. You got to know how to convert the pronouns to the attached versions. Page 18 is like a mission in your life. It should live in your head. The status of them, the meanings of them, and the conversions of them. Attached to independent to attached. You got to be able to go back and forth quickly. These words, absolutely fundamental. I cannot stress that enough. Let's try, what are the last 2 pronouns? Ana and nahnu, okay? Certainly I. There's 2, innani, and they also make it inni. Innani or inni for short, both of them are correct Arabic, okay? Huh? Yeah, but they fuse the noon, so it's okay. It's mostly jar. It's mostly jar. But so innani and inni, yes. Yeah, so inna is the harf of nasab, and the ni is the ism that became nasab. And inni is like they said, there's too many ends here, we can just smush them together. It's still nasab, yeah. It's not jar. It's not jar. Okay? So they're both good ways of saying it. Which one do you think sounds more powerful? Innani or inni? Really? In Arabic, they have a rule. When you make more sounds, it carries more meaning. When you make more sounds, it carries more meaning. إِذَا تَكَثَّرَ تَأَكَّدَ. They have a rule. So which one is more powerful then? Innani is more powerful. Sometimes you'll find in the Quran innani, and other times you'll find inni, and by comparison you can tell Allah is stressing something more here and less there. Even though the English translations will say certainly I, but one of them is more emphatic, more powerful than the other. It has more weight, yes. No, light and heavy has nothing to do with emphasis. In only one context, it has to do with more stronger negation, remember? So don't assume light and heavy is about emphasis at all. Remember, I think I said some things have a role to play in a very limited context and you cannot make it broad. That's the warning, right? So, nahnu, inna, na, or they say there's too many ends here. Like inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. Inna a'tainaka is actually two words. It's inna and na mashed together. Okay? How do you know? Because the alif is there. Because inna by itself is written like this, isn't it? But if you put it together with na, you have to write it as inna or innana. Both of these are the same meaning. But which one is more stressed? Innana. Innana is more stressed than inna. Okay? Very nice. So, what are the harf of nasb from memory? Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla. Okay, very good. Watch this. And we'll end with this and give you a break. Inna lil muttaqina mafaza hadaiqa wa a'naba wa kawa'iba atraba wa ka'san dihaqa. What surah am I talking about? Surah An-Naba, right? Inna lil muttaqina mafaza. Okay, now watch this. Inna is a harf of what? What does it want? What is its only desire? To make the next word. So inna went over to li. Because the next word was what? Li. He said, hey, inna said, hey, want to be my nasb? And Li said, bro, I'm a harf. I'm a harf. And on top of that, harfs don't have properties. I can't be nasb because I'm not even a what? An ism. So Inna said, okay, sorry, bro. I'm just going to go have a word with muttaqeen. So I'm going to go talk to muttaqeen and ask muttaqeen if they would like to be what? Nasb. And Li said, excuse me, I'm a harf of jar. And al-muttaqeen is in a very committed relationship with me already because I'm the jar and al-muttaqeen is my majroor. Step off, Inna. Inna said, what do you want me to do? I can't mess up with Li. I can't make muttaqeen jar because he's already busy. And then came what? Mafhazan and said, hey, hi, I could be nasb for you. And I was like, okay, we're going to be long distance friends. I'll be the inna, you'll be my ism, even though you are what? Long distance away, it's okay. What did I tell you about mudaf ilayh? Can't be apart. What did I tell you about jar majroor? Cannot be apart. What am I about to tell you for inna and its ism? They can be far apart. It's okay. That's okay. They can be apart. Inna back here, mafazan. Down there. What's the only reason it had to be apart? Because stuff in between wasn't letting them do it. Wasn't letting them have the effect. Inna cannot affect li. Inna cannot affect muttaqeen because it's already being affected by what? Li. But inna still needs someone to nasbify. So the nasbification comes later on. Yes? The first possible word. The first possible word. Now sometimes it's right next to it. Sometimes it's normal situation. Inna Allaha happens. Inna al-muslimina wal-muslimati. It happens. But other times, inna is followed by something that it cannot impact. And if it's not able to impact it, inna has to wait until that's possible. Okay? Here's an ayah. And before I tell you the ayah, I'm going to tell you a small side lesson. How much time do we have before Maghrib? 3 minutes? Okay, we should be okay. Oh man, I don't want to type up this ayah. I think somebody look up, the Hufat, look up what ayah number this is. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض آيات لقوم يعقلون. 155 maybe? Can you check? Can you guys check? Or to what? 164? No, that's Ali Imran. You're wrong ayah. That's not that ayah. I just had a Zakir Naik moment. Okay, cool. Oh, 164. You were right. What is inna? Harf of nasb. Harf of nasb. Okay, here's what happened. Inna wanted to make the next word jar. But the next word is what? Fi. Fi is a harf of. Inna cannot mess with that. It wanted to affect khalq. But khalq said, listen, I'm already being beat up by what? fi. It wanted to go to as-samawat, and khalq said, no, 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 I'm the mudaf, and as-samawat is my mudaf ilay. And inna kept getting rejected, and 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 that kept happening and happening and happening until we get, and no, and Nasa is something else you don't know yet. You'll know in a few days. And then you get to this word. And this is not harf of jar. La ayatin is not harf of jar. Let me tell you why. Bata kaf, what did I say? Lam. But that lam has to have a e. That lam has to have what? Li ayatin. Alhamdulillahi. Lillahi. This is not li ayatin, this is what? La ayatin. This word is actually nasb. In this ayah, this word is actually nasb. Ayatun, ayatin, ayatin. And if you look at the grammar of this ayah, why did it become nasb? Guess why? Because in a different town, there was an inna waiting to nasbalize. Inna la ayatin. I'm not telling you that this is going to be every case. I just wanted you to appreciate how long a long distance relationship can be in Arabic grammar. And here's the really cool part. What did I say inna means? Certainly. The word certainly is connected to the ayat here, isn't it? Grammatically. Because the word certainly is affecting ayat. Most translations say this. Certainly in the creation of the skies and the earth, and the conflict of night and day, and the ships that sail in the sea with which benefit people, and what God sent down from the sky, giving life to the earth after its death, and what He spread out from all kinds of creatures, and the passing of winds, and the clouds stuck between the sky and the earth. There are signs. And I add, there are signs. But when they said certainly, what did they put certainly next to in their translation? Certainly in the creation. But grammatically, certainly is not with the words in the creation. Grammatically, certainly is with the signs in the creation of the skies and the earth and the conflict of night and day. There certainly are signs. There truly are signs. The certainty is not with that stuff. The certainty is with the signs. The certainty. Sometimes you read translation and I'm like, wait, but inna, ism inna. Some respect. Some respect. You got to connect it together. This is why you're going to start feeling a level of dissatisfaction from typical translations. And you're going to start noticing things in grammar that you're not seeing emerge in translation. And that's not to insult the translations, but translations have different priorities. Okay? Arabic students have different set of priorities. And I want you to develop that sense. What's happening in the text? Yes. Yes, if you have a harf of nasb, inna, anna, ka, anna, bi, anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla. I'll say that again and I want to hear you. Inna, anna, ka, anna, bi, anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla. If one of these is there, it has to have an ism. There must be an ism that's nasb. It will never just exist by itself and there's no ism. It will be there, okay? It's never just missing. Let's go take a break for salah. Bismillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Everyone, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fragments. How many do we know? Number 1, idafa. Number 2, jar, majroor. Number 3, harf nasb plus its what? Its ism. Harf of nasb plus its ism. What are the harf of nasb? Inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, layta, lakinna, la'ala. Well done. What are the jar majroor? I don't know. You gotta tell me. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw. Min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Well done. Okay. These are absolutely essential. They happen all the time. By the way, in Maghrib prayer, did you hear any combinations? Did you hear any harf of jars? Did you hear any pronouns? Did anything happen? Did any brain activity take place? Let me show you something from the prayer. This is what the Imam recited in the prayer in the second rak'ah, Surah Al-Furqan, towards the end, or not in the first rak'ah actually. So I'll put that up here so you guys can see. See if we can figure some things out. This is what he recited. He said, Rabbana, Rabbana. Do you hear anything we learned in this class? What do you see? Our master. What kind of grammar is Rabbana? Mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Please let go. Okay, I will let go. They said go over there. Okay, bye. Okay. Rabbana. Okay. So Rabb would be what here? Good. Now would be the mudaf ilayh. And now comes originally from where? Nahnu. Good. Lana. Something I didn't tell you before. Ba, ta, kaf, lam. You will find lam in two ways. When it's on every ism, it's li. When it's on an ism, it is what? Li. But when it's with a pronoun, other than e, because that forces it, all other pronouns, it looks like la. How will you remember? Anybody know Surah Al-Kafirun? قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد. What's the last ayah? لا, not likum. What do we say? لكم دينكم و liya din. So with kum, it's lakum, but with e, it's liya dini or li dini, like that. Okay. So here, lana. What does lana? If lam means for, lam means for. What does lana mean? For us. For us. That's a jar majroor, isn't it? Okay, then we read, or we heard the Imam say, min azwajina. Min azwaji na. 3 words. What kind of word is min? That's a jar. What happened to azwaj? It became majroor, azwaji. What is the relationship between azwaji and na? Mudaf and? Very nice. From our spouses. Wa means and. From our spouses and who else? Dhurriyati. Let me show you something. The word is dhurriyatun, like muslimatun. Yeah? Let's do the whole chart. Dhurriyatun, dhurriyatan, dhurriyatin. ذريتان ذريتين ذريتين ذريات ذريات ذريات. And if it's ذريات, sorry, ذريات, how do you make it a mudaf? ذرياتي. And then you add a na. ذريات means offspring, children. ذرياتنا means what? Our children. Mudaf mudaf ilayh. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا. Give us the gift for us from our spouses and our what? Offspring, our children. قرة أعين. Can you recognize any Arabic grammar we may have done in this class? In قرة أعين? Any fragment? Light, no al, followed by? That's a mudaf and a mudaf ilayh. قرة أعين. وجعلنا. By the way, coolness of eyes. قرة means coolness. أعين means eyes. The mudaf mudaf ilayh puts an oven between them. So we say the coolness of, coolness of eyes. Let's go to للمتقين. Do you see one word or 2 words? I see 2 words. What are the 2 words? Li and al-muttaqina. What kind of word is li? Harf jar. What does it do to the next word? So li is the jar and al-muttaqin is the majrur. Fine. Al-muttaqina, originally you learned, ina could be plural nasab or, but here it's definitely jar. Excellent job. Lil muttaqina. أولئك يجزون الغرفة بما صبروا ويلقون فيها تحية وسلاما خالدين. How many words do you see in fiha? You see 2 words. Fi and ha. Fi means in. What does fiha mean? in her, but actually it's referring to Jannah or Ghurfa, the mansion, and the mansion is feminine. How do I know the mansion is feminine? The round ta. So they will remain in it, meaning in the mansion. It's referring back to the mansion. حسنت مستقرا ومقاما. قل ما يعبأ بكم. How many words do you see in bikum? B? And B is what kind of word? Jar. And then the kum is the majroor. Okay, yes? Which one? Let me go up. This one? This one? So Al-Muttaqina didn't have a line at the bottom, you're saying? Good. How many ways do you tell status? Do you remember how to tell status? There were two ways. What are the two main ways? Ending sounds or? Okay. So the sounds are u or un sound is rafa, e or in sound is nasab, or our un sound is nasab, e or in is jar. But what happens in combinations? Una, ina, ina. And una is plural rafa, ina is what? Plural nasab, and ina is again plural jar. Which one is this? Do you see an ina? That's a combination, isn't it? It's okay. Is that clear though? Good. Okay, some of you are picking this up quickly. Some of you are taking your time to process it. Some of you have done this before, so you have an added advantage. Here's what I want you to learn. We say about Allah describes Muslims. One of the description of Muslims is أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. They're extremely humble before other believers. You know what that means? Another place Allah says, يُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ. They give others preference over themselves. If you are a student who's struggling, and next to you is a student who is not struggling, and every time I ask a question, before I even finish answering the question, the advanced student says, Rafa, Nasib, Mudaf, Harjar. They say that quickly. They keep spotting out the answers. The student that's struggling, if you're that student, how do you feel? One, you feel stupid. Two, you feel distracted. You feel distracted because you don't even get time to think, and the person next to you is like, what? Rafa, Jar, Nasib, Harjar, Har, Nasib, they're just popping it out, and you start getting distracted by their enthusiasm. Now many of us come from Muslim countries where we have some problematic teaching practices. A teacher is proud of you when you call the answers out, what? Quickly. So the teacher rewards that and says, you're a good student, you're a good student. And the moment he does that, how is he making all the other students feel? Terrible, losers, stupid, behind. And a hierarchy is created inside the classroom where kids that are doing better with the teacher feel a sense of what? Superiority, so they can learn a lesson about brotherhood and equality in the classroom from the textbook, but what they're being taught in the classroom is a pyramid. They're being taught hierarchy and classism. So your ability to grasp a subject makes you somehow superior. And teachers, unfortunately, make some students feel superior. And they say, I'm proud of you, good job, this, right? And that becomes a subconscious part. One day, I want to get to a point where I make my teacher proud because I wasn't able to do it at school. All the other kids were smarter, I was taking my time. And the moment you start seeing that you're getting the answers, some part of you don't even realize says, I'm going to be number one this time. But what you don't realize when you do that is you're crushing somebody else psychologically as you're doing it. You understand? So this classroom, if you've been able to answer a couple of questions, and I know you know, and some of you are like, give me the answer, and some of you don't wait for the hand to be raised, you just call out the answer anyway, which defeats the purpose of raising your hand, by the way. But when you call out the answer over and over again, I want you to know that I'm not picking on you because I know you know. And I also want you to know that my focus is to salvage and also maintain the confidence of all the other students that are still working through it. So even though we're on day 5, is it perfectly understandable that someone forgot that there's such a thing as sounds and combinations? Perfectly. It's only been 5 days. You have a whole day of stress. You come here in the evenings, your brains are half dead as it is. So it's completely understandable. That doesn't make you lesser in my eyes. My job is to help the ones that are struggling the most. And you, the ones among you that are doing well, you should see yourselves not just as good students, you should pick up the qualities of good teaching. And the first quality of good teaching is empathy for your students, meaning you need to feel how they feel to be able to help them. If you don't develop that, you can give a lecture, you can hear some people call out the answer, you'll feel good about yourself because 5 people kept calling out the answer. And this becomes an institutional problem to the point where you'll have a school where most students are struggling, but 2 kids are doing really well, and at the graduation ceremony, who are they showing as their product? The 2 students that are doing really well, put them on stage, put them before the world, and all the other 98% of the kids are feeling worthless, and also you're actually lying to the public about your product. That's not your product. Your best students are not your product, actually. To me, your worst students are not your product, and your best students are not your product. You know who your actual product is? The vast middle. The middle is a large gap. Now, some students don't put in the work, so they stay on the bottom. Some students struggle extra hard. Allah made some things extra hard for them. They're not a reflection of the success of a program. Some students are exceptionally good, or they have background. They are also not proof that the program is any good. Where does the proof lie? In the middle. How do you take people that are in the middle, and how are you making sure that most of them are actually getting it and making progress? You understand? Then the other advice I have for you as students, one thing that will ruin your learning journey, it will ruin it before it even begins, is if you compare yourself. And if, we are in a social gathering, there are a few hundred people sitting here. Social gatherings come with social psychology. You know what that means? You're aware that you're not alone. So if I pick on you, subconsciously your thought is, are other people going to look at me? Is this going to be on camera? Is this going to be recorded? How are people seeing me? What if I get the answer wrong? What if I get embarrassed? All of this has nothing to do with learning. It has to do with your place in society. You understand? So you come into the classroom trying to preserve your dignity as a member of society. Listen, let your status, leave it at the door. Leave it at the door. You come here to learn. When you come to learn, there is no embarrassment, none. You can make the worst mistakes, make them over and over again. You don't care. Why? Because you didn't come here to prove anything to anyone, not even to me. You came here for one purpose only. Which is what? To learn. And you can only learn by making mistakes, by asking questions, by asking again, by asking again. I am not taking away anybody's opportunity to ask questions. Do I stop talking when one of you asks a question? If I'm in the middle of a sentence, I'll finish my sentence and then pick on you, yes or no? Why? Because you don't come here for me, you come here for you. And if you sit there with your question and wonder if Ustad's gonna think this is a stupid question, or Ustad's gonna make fun of my question. Of course I'm gonna make fun of your question. That's my entertainment in life. But that doesn't mean you don't ask a question. Ask your question. Learn to live with the embarrassment. Get over yourself. Get over it. Learn. Which means, I don't get it. Do that again. I don't understand gender. Which question? Be specific and be focused. And I'm telling you, 2 things will happen. 1, you will learn like you never learned before. And 2, you will develop confidence. You'll just become less worried about what people think. Look, I'm teaching barefoot online. I don't care. This is comfy. Okay? It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. My job is to teach you. That's it. Your job is to learn. That's it. Once you get that clarity of thought, all this other stuff starts disappearing. Unfortunately, many of us come from education systems where even inside the classroom, we bring social hierarchy. And that gets in the way of learning. It actually gets in the way of learning, okay? So I'm very proud of those of you that are struggling and still trying. It's not easy. You struggled with the answer, and I'm super proud of you for trying. It made me really happy that you tried and struggled. Why? Because it takes guts to do that. It takes guts to do that. Some of you kids are answering, even if you get it wrong, you're trying anyway. The adults are like, oh, the kids are so smart. I don't want to feel stupid in front of kids. Why not? Why not? Is that going to make you a lesser person? Kids are faster. They memorize fast. You got old. Your memory fails you. It's okay. Get over yourself. You're learning now. You should be proud that you're learning now. You know? So those are the things that I don't want to take too much time away from class, but this is important for you also in life, not just in Arabic class, inshallah. Okay. Now, by the way, du'a'ukum. You know what the word dua means. I don't have to tell you what dua means. What is du'a'ukum? What is kum? You all? Is it rafa', nasab, or jar? It's rafa', nasab, or jar. Kum. The rafa' version is antum. Because the original pronouns are all rafa'. The attached versions can only be nasab or jar. Now, dua is light and no al, which means it's a mudaf. And if it's a mudaf, the pronoun at the end becomes a mudaf ilayh, which means the pronoun is what status? Jar. The call of all of you, you people's call. Du'a'ukum. Okay? If you just stick with the process, things will keep getting unlocked. One of the things I'm excited for you is, you guys know the last few surahs by heart, I think. Fatiha and the last few surahs. You should start trying to figure out what's happening in the last surahs that you know. The more Arabic that you already know, that you've already memorized since childhood, you try to apply what I've taught you to that first. Before you open up every part of the Quran, just the few short surahs you know, there's still things in the short surahs that are more advanced than what I've given you. There's other stuff going on there, but some things you can start figuring out already. And I want you to do that exercise for yourself. Which one? Du'a'ukum? No. No, it wasn't feminine. So I told you today early on, the alif, the question is dua feminine? Dua is not feminine. I told you today early that this guy is feminine when it is colors or sicknesses. That's when it's feminine. And dua is not a color, and dua is definitely not a sickness. Right? Yeah. Okay, let's go through that. The question is, everybody, is dua light or heavy? What do you think? I don't know where it keeps going. Why is my keyboard acting in this way? Where's my stuff? Ah, it was too big. I don't know what that purple thing is. Can anyone help me with that? Control, no, that didn't help. Okay, I got it. Yeah, it's a common thing. Oh my God, what is, okay. Sorry guys, hold on. I will change this to this. And, okay, let's do that. Or no, it wasn't ad-du'a, it was du'a'u. Okay, is that light or heavy? Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Let me do it right that way. Like that. Okay. That's not a while. Let me tell you a secret. I'll tell you a secret. Why are you okay, I'm going to close this and open it again. Okay. I'll show you a really cool secret. What's this letter? What is it? Good. What's this letter? Hamza. What's this letter? Hamza. What's this letter? That's a Hamza, that's a Hamza, that's a Hamza, and also that's a Hamza. It just rolls in on different rides. It rolls up on an alif, it rolls up on a waw. It's still a Hamza. You with me? Okay. The difference? It depends on the Hamza's mood. Ask Hamza. There's a reason, but it won't help you right now. It'll just cause unnecessary accidents in the parking lot. Just don't do it. Yeah. Louder, louder, louder. What's your name? Abdul Hadi, Nuaim Raifi, where are you? Go. Nuaim's coming to you. So we can hear. Yeah.
So I have sort of a dumb question actually. What is the benefit in knowing whether a word like dua kum is nasab or jar?
Oh, good question. Yes. What's the purpose of rafa? At least one purpose we know. It's a doer.
Right.
Another purpose is what? It's a detail. Nasab.
Yes.
And the purpose of jar is what? After of. So now that I know it's rafa, possibly it's doing some kind of act in that sentence. There's some fi'l and it's the doer of it.
Okay.
You understand? Or maybe playing some other role. So even every rafa, every nasab, every jar is playing some kind of a significant role. You don't know all those roles yet. You just know how to recognize them in isolation. As we develop our Arabic, you'll start seeing the role every one of them is playing. You know, sometimes in the Quran, there's an ayah which is read two ways. It's read in a rafa' way and it's also read in a nasab way. That happens sometimes. Different qira'at exist, and the word can be read in rafa' and it can be read in nasab. And then in tafsir, you'll have pages dedicated to the rafa' reading and what that means, and the nasab reading and what that means, and how they correspond to each other. That does happen in the Quran, in Quran studies. Okay? So it's pretty cool that that exists. Yes.
I do have one more question.
Yeah.
Or suggestion from you. I'm struggling with memorizing this attached versions. Do you have any tip or suggestion on how to memorize these attached versions of pronouns?
If you want to do flashcards, that might help you. First, do you know huwa, huma, hum, first of all?
Yes.
Okay, so then just, if you're having a hard time remembering, what's the attached version of huwa, right? Just make 8 or 14 flashcards, huwa on one side, hu or he on the other side. Right? And just make memory cards and practice that a little bit, you'll get it, no problem. Inshallah. Okay, and you can maybe even make them, there's websites now, you can make your own flashcards and things. Yeah. That's right, dua is proper because kum is proper. That is correct, yes, your comment is correct. Okay, I'm going to give you something new to wrap up today. New and juicy. My question is, are these mudaf ilayh? Yes or no? No. What kind of relationship exists between mudaf and mudaf ilayh? Of relationship. What kind of relationship is this? That's an adjective. It's not the house of nice. Nice is a description of the house. The first word seems to always be describing the second word. Yes? Old is describing the house. Smart is describing the boy. Smarter is describing the girl. Okay? In English grammar, what do we call these guys? Nice, old, smart, smarter. What do we call them? Adjectives. And where do we put adjectives in English? Before or after? Okay, so there's two things here. There's an adjective and there's a noun. There's an adjective and a noun. Let's try this. Nice man, nice woman, nice men, nice women. Are all of these correct? They're all correct. What never changed? You don't say nice man and nices men, you don't make it plural. Nice stays nice. You can make it masculine. The noun could be masculine or feminine. Did it change? The noun could be plural or singular. Did it change? No. If I say green car, what an ugly color. Green cars. Okay? Sorry if you have a green car. My apologies. Okay. Green car or green cars? Did the word green change? You don't say greens cars. You just say green cars. It doesn't change. So two things, note two things about adjectives in English. One, the adjectives come first. Adjectives come first. And two, they don't change. Nouns change. Nouns can change in gender, nouns can change in number, but adjectives don't change. What's the definition of an ism? Trick question. Day one. What's the definition of an ism? Person, place, thing, idea. Is adjective part of it? Okay. So according to Arabic, green is an adjective. You agree? Because Arabic says green is an ism. So an adjective, it's an ism. An ism has how many properties? What are they? Status, number, what else? Which means the word green in Arabic will have status. And what's crazy is green in Arabic will also have what? Number. Does it have number in English? No. Green in Arabic will also have gender. Does it have gender in English? No. And it will also have type. Does it have type in English? No. It will have all the qualities that an ism has. You with me? And here's the other thing. In Arabic, we don't say green car, we say car green. Boy nice. And nowadays we say that in songs too. But we in English we say book old. In Arabic, we don't say old book. We say book old. And if it's two books, we'll say books olds. And this is not English. This is me thinking in Arabic. Or we'll say bukani. How many books is bukani? Two. Oldani. There's going to be bukani oldani. Okay? So if I say, let's say, studentuna, it'll be smartuna. Okay? Studentuna, smartuna. Because if the students are plural, smart also has to be what? Plural. If I say feminine students, studentatun, then how are they going to be smart? Smartatun. Okay? I'm just teaching you how to think in Arabic right now. Okay? Now, you have Muslimun. Muslimun. I think you know what Muslimun means. I'll tell you what Salih means. Salih means good. Salih means what? Good. Okay. What this is called noun. In English, we call this noun and what? Adjective. But in English, it's always adjective, noun. In Arabic, it's always noun, adjective. You with me so far? How many properties does an ism have? If you want to create noun adjective in Arabic, you have to know the 4 properties of Muslim. How many properties? 4. And you have to create the same 4 properties for Salih. Not 2 of the same, not 3 of the same, not 1 of the same. I need how many of the same? All 4. I taught you 4 properties of the ism, and one of the reasons I taught them to you is so you can recognize when something is a noun and something else is its adjective. Okay? Noun, adjective match in how many properties? 4. Muslimun, salihun. A good Muslim. What about this? Al-Muslimu. What do you think? As-salihu. Let's do the 4 properties. Status of al-Muslimu. Status, rafa. As-salihu also, rafa. Al-Muslimu, singular. As-salihu also, singular. Next property. That was status and number. What's next property? Gender, al-Muslimu, masculine. Al-Salihu also masculine. Al-Muslimu, common or proper? How you know? Al-Salihu also. Now you get to say this is noun and what? Adjective. When you translate it, what do? Because English doesn't put them at the end. English puts them where? So how do you translate this? The good Muslim. The good Muslim. You flip it. In mudaf ilayh, you can keep the same order, A of B. But when you translate noun adjective, you've got to flip the two words and then translate them. You with me? Okay. What about muslimatin? What does muslimatin mean? A female Muslim, a Muslim woman. A Muslim woman is a muslimatin. What status did I give her? Okay. If I want to give her an adjective, what will the adjective be? Saliha. You with me? Okay. Muslimatun. Salihatun. Okay. Now let's make it interesting. Last Snickers. Show of hands, show of hands. You can't just call out and get a Snickers. This is... Yes? No, wait, you already got... No, well... No. Someone else, come on. What do you think? Say that again, so it's on record.
Okay. قام الصالحون.
Salihun? Like that? Yeah. Yeah? Okay, fine. Anybody else want to give me Arabic instead? What do you think, Hassan?
قوم صالح.
قوم صالحون. Two answers so far. Anybody else? Yes? قوم صالحات.
صالحات.
Yeah, okay. We're good. Lots of different schools of thought in the Ummah. Yes? قوم صالحة.
Single feminine.
Okay. What do you know about qawm? What do you know about, did we learn the word qawm in this class? Somebody said, qawmun, yeah, we learned it. The Arab said so. There was a little bit more to that sentence than the Arab said so. Because every word we've done so far is something the Arab said. Qawmun is something because the Arab said so. What is that something? Okay, wait. I want 4 properties of qawmun. What status? Rafa. Agreed? Based on what? Un. Okay. Number. Plural. Why? Because the Arab said so. Gender. Disagreement. Anybody else can say feminine, you can't. Is there any sign of feminine? Is there any sign of feminine? So what are we going to go with? Okay. Common or proper? Common why? No al. No al. It's common. Yes? So if I come up with an adjective, it should have what properties? Rafa? Salihuna is rafa. Plural? Salihuna is plural. Masculine? Salihuna is masculine. Common? Salihuna is common. You were right. Qawmun salihuna. You know, when I said Muslimun, Salihun, Muslimani, Salihani, Muslimuna, Salihuna, Muslimatun, Salihatun, you're like, oh, this is easy, rhymey, easy timey. And then I give you qawmun, and you're like, salihun, na'a. You got to remember some grammar for this one. Okay, let's try some. This is a hard case. Let's try a couple of other hard cases. Kitabun, what does kitab mean? Okay, if I say kitabun, let's do a good word. Qayyimun. Qayyimun. No, qayyim, kitab means a book of value, a book with values. Okay, or you can, let's make it even simpler, a valuable book. A valuable book. Okay. How do I say this? Describe two valuable books. What do you think I should do? Qayyimani. Yes? Does anyone know the plural of kitab? Good. Okay, wait. 4 properties of kutub. Rafa, good. Is it plural? Kutub means it's plural? When you hear the word plural, what should you do? You got to ask a follow-up question. What is that question? What? So, no, Qibla is that way. Okay. What's the question? What kind of plural? How many kinds of plural are there? Okay, there's una, ina. Is kutubun one of them? Is atun, atin? Is kutub one of them? Is this a human broken plural? Is this a non-human broken plural? Is this a plural because the Arab said so? Which plural is it? Non-human broken plural. Okay, if it's a non-human broken plural, what do they do with it? Singular she. There's no such thing as dual she. There's only she is only one. So what am I going to put for number? 1. What am I going to put for gender? Feminine. Because the Arabs say that non-human broken plurals are a she. And then what am I going to put for common or proper? Common. So my adjective qayyim would have to be rafa. So I'm going to say qayyimun. Right? It's singular. Qayyimun, it's already singular. It's feminine. Is qayyim feminine? I'm going to have to change it. How do I make qayyim feminine? Qayyimatun. And it's common. Is it already common? Now it's right. Now watch this. Kitabun qayyimun. That was good. Kitabani, what did I say? Qayyimani. But when I came to kutubun, qayyimatun. لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة رسول من الله يتلو صحفا مطهرة فيها كتب قيمة. Broken plurals have feminine adjectives, singular feminine adjectives, don't they? Okay, let's try this one. Yes. Singular feminine, right? Qayyimatun would be plural feminine. But what are you considering a broken plural? Singular feminine. So qayyimatun. Okay. Sarirun marfu'un. Let me explain this to you. Sarir means bed. Sarir means what? Bed. Marfu' means raised. So what does sarirun marfu' mean? Raised bed, high bed. Okay. All right, sarir, 4 properties. Rafa, just like marfu'. Rafa, just like marfu'. What else? Singular, just like marfu'. Masculine, just like marfu'. Common, just like marfu'. How do I make this into 2 beds? Sarirani, marfu'ani. 2 raised beds. The plural of sarir is sururun. The plural of sarir is what? Sururun. Can somebody give me the 4 properties of sururun? Hassan, why don't you try? Give Hassan the mic, please.
It's rafa.
It's rafa. Good. Rafa.
Singular.
It's singular, really. Beds? Beds? Beds are singular?
Plural.
Beds are plural? You have to decide. You must decide. And don't listen to Amjad. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just trying to mess you up. What you think? What kind of plural is sururun? Is beds a human? Is beds a human?
No.
No, only in horror movies. Okay. So this is
Singular because it's a non-human broken plural.
singular and what else? Your singular is right. What gender is it?
Masculine. Oh no, feminine.
Why?
Because if it's a non-human broken plural, it's a she.
Good job, Hassan.
I'm your cousin, right?
I actually have one more. Okay. Sururun. He says it's rafa. Everyone agrees. It's one feminine. Why? Non-human broken plurals are considered one feminine. She. Okay. Common or proper? Okay, so what am I going to do with marfu'? Marfu'atun. Okay. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى has this, doesn't it? فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة. All of those are broken plurals with feminine adjectives. Broken plurals and feminine adjectives. Yeah. غاشية, sorry, غاشية. That's what I said. Pay attention, Naim. Okay? All right. Go to page 26, I think. You're going to back a little bit. Yeah. Let's go through these examples so you understand them on page 26. In order to decide two words are noun and adjective, they have to have how many of the same properties? All four. The tricky cases will be two. There'll be two tricky cases for you. One tricky case will be if it's a broken plural, then the adjective will be what? Feminine. The second tricky case is if it's one of the plurals because the Arab said so, then the adjective will be plural. Like qawmun salihuna, remember that? Those are the two tricky cases. Otherwise, most of the time it's obvious. Okay, let's look at this. Qawlan, thaqilan. Both of them are what status? Good. Both of them are what gender? No sign of feminine. No sign of feminine, so they're both masculine, they're both singular, they're both nasab, and they're both common or proper. They're both common. So that means this must be a noun adjective. When you get to a noun adjective, how do you translate it? So thaqil means heavy, qawl means word. What do you translate this into? A heavy word. A heavy word. Is this different from mudaf ilayh? Does it look different from mudaf ilayh? How does a mudaf ilayh look? Light, no al, followed by jar. Is this look different? Yeah. What's the difference? Now two words are together and they are matching in four properties. Now this second case is important. My question to you is the first word rafi' nasab or jar in at-tammatu? Is it rafi' nasab or jar? Rafi'. Yes. What about the second word? Al-kubra. What kind of word is kubra? Can you tell if it's rafa' nasab or jar? What category does that belong to? Non-flexible, which means the rafa' is al-kubra, the nasab is also al-kubra, and the jar is also Al-Kubra. So I'm not going to make judgment yet, but I'll say it's possible that it matches. At least it's possible. So I'll reserve judgment on the status. Let's go to the second issue. The second issue is number. First word, at-tamma. Is it singular? Do you see any signs of al-kubra being more than singular? No. So I'm going to say that both of these words are singular. Okay, so at least number matches. Let's go to gender. There's some words, some letters at the end that make a word feminine. Tamrabuta makes a word feminine. So is the first word feminine? There's some other letters that can make a word feminine. Is the dagger alif also one of them? So they're feminine for two different reasons, but the bottom line is, are they still both feminine? Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say that the number is both singular and the gender is both feminine. Okay, let's go to type, common or proper. Are they both proper? How do you know? I'll on both. So you know what? Proper, proper, feminine, feminine, singular, singular. I'm thinking we should make everything match, which means even though I don't know for sure if al-kubra is rafa, I'm going to give benefit of the doubt, and therefore I'm going to say that al-kubra is an adjective of at-tamma. At-tamma. You get it? And that's how you decide. You have to match four properties. Right now, this is like solving a big math problem. First status, then number, then gender, then type. When you do this the 50th time, the 100th time, guess what's going to happen? Quick, second nature. This all depends on how much you expose yourself. Suhufan mutahharatan. Look at it and tell me what doesn't seem to match. What doesn't seem to match? Looks like a lot of things match, but something doesn't seem to match. Good. Gender does not seem to match. Why? Because the first one looks what? Looks masculine. The second one clearly looks. When you come across a case like this in the Quran, you can make a really good educated guess. You know what that educated guess is? That first word is probably a non-human broken plural. Because non-human broken plurals tend to get a feminine adjective. Suhufan means scriptures, and that's why it has a feminine adjective. So sometimes words that don't look feminine have a feminine adjective. That's probably because they are a broken plural. So now we can work backwards and make an educated guess also. Okay? So suhufan mutahharatun. Oof, this one's going to be fun. Bala'un. Bala'un. Trial. Actually means two things, trial and blessing. But I'm going to go with trial for now. Bala'un means trial. Let's try to figure out its four properties. Status. Good. Rafa. Number. One. Gender. It's masculine. It's masculine. And type. Common. It's Rafa. Do you see anything else Rafa in this part of the ayah? Azimun is Rafa. Bala'un is singular. Is Azimun also singular? He's getting closer. Okay. Bala'un is masculine. Is Azimun also masculine? Bala'un is common. Is Azimun also? There's only one problem. What seems to be the problem? Two fragments do not allow distance. And two fragments allow distance. Which two fragments don't allow distance? Idafa? What else? Jar majroor. Idafa, jar majroor. No distance. Which two fragments allow distance? Harf nasab and its ism. And what else? Nouns and adjectives can wait. So this is actually a great trial. A great trial. Even though Azim is down the road. But since you know how to match four properties, it's actually still a noun adjective. Yeah, it's a plural, yeah? Louder? It is nasab, yeah. It's nasab and it's, go ahead, ask your question on the mic so we all hear.
I'm just confusing it between like nasab and I'm thinking it's a nasab.
Suhufan.
No?
About suhufan. You're asking about this first line.
Suhufan, yeah.
Okay, you're asking if it's nasab.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So?
But we have how it's like plural.
Okay, if it's nasab, how could it be plural?
Mhm.
Okay. There are 4 properties. Status is a separate property. Number is a separate property.
Right.
Gender is a separate property. Type is a separate property. Okay. You figured out that the status is nasab.
Yeah.
Yeah? The number is a completely separate problem. Right?
Yep.
Now, I think where your confusion is this. You're used to seeing a nasab as muslimina. Isn't it? Ina should be nasab plural. But how can suhufan, which has an ending sound, which belongs in the singular column, how can it be plural? Isn't that your question?
Exactly.
Okay, very nice. Okay. What I want you to remember is kitabun is 1 book. Kitabani is how many?
2 books.
2 books. Do you remember how do you say books?
Kutub.
Kutubun. Now notice kutubun and kitabun. Don't they both have an ending sound?
Yeah.
You know what happens in Arabic? When you have a broken plural, it also has ending sounds. So it looks like singular, even though it is what? Plural.
Plural, yeah.
It is plural, but it looks singular. Which one? The broken plural.
Gotcha.
Okay? So now, how would I know it's a broken plural? First of all, when I was telling you about broken plurals, I said you can only know a broken plural if you know the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Right? But I give you a new clue today. Let me show you the new clue. The new clue is, you see this? I don't know if this is a broken plural or not. But is this second word feminine? Yes, but the first word, suhufan, doesn't look feminine. You know what that means? This guy is probably a broken plural because broken plurals are treated like they are feminine. That's why the adjective is feminine. So I'm making an educated guess that suhufan is actually a broken plural. That's how you know. Helps to solve the problem? Excellent. Okay, that's why I'm here. Yes, of course. Okay, good question. The question is this is bala'un min rabbikum azimun. Could it be bala'un azimun min rabbikum? Yes, it could be. Then the question is going to be, but why is it like this? And that's going to be above the current pay grade. It will happen. We will deal with it when you're ready. Right now, the kiddie pool, not the ocean. Okay? The thing is, the job of a teacher, I learned this the hard way. The difference between a preschool teacher and a college professor is huge. You know who's a better teacher most of the time? Preschool teacher. Do you know why? Because a preschool teacher is sensitive to the needs of his or her students. A college professor comes and dumps out what they know and walk out. They don't care if you get it or not. They just brain dump and walk out. They don't care about the language you need to use for your students. Now, this example that you just mentioned, bala'un min rabbikum azim. If I was trying to be a college professor, I would say bala'un mawsuf min rabbikum jar majrur fi mahalli rafa' sifa ula li bala' azimun sifatun thaniya. I would go on and just tell you what's going on in the Arabic and you'd be like, and then you say, Ustad Nouman knows lots of Arabic words. So cool. And so I just wanted you to feel like I'm really cool because I can say lots of Arabic words. That's not me being a teacher. That's just me being a show-off. I need to be and part of me teaching is I know a lot of stuff that I don't want to tell you because I care about you. Not because I don't want to tell you, because if I tell you now, it won't do benefit, it will do what? It will do damage. It will do damage. I'm building a foundation. You're asking about the 3rd floor. If I start putting something together on the 3rd floor right now, this will get damaged, right? So sometimes your questions, the answer, your curiosity is healthy because you're like, is this coming? Is this coming? And I know it's on the 4th floor, it's on the 5th floor, it's on the 17th floor. So I'll say, not yet. We're still in the foundation, but it's coming. It's not like your question isn't important. It's just right now isn't the right time for you. But a time will be there. But once the foundation is built, okay? And that's a discretion I have to use all the time. Yes. No. No, from the meaning, Quran is, there's a question about the word Quran. Actually, let's not do that question. I'll do that after class. Let's stick to this. كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. Do you know what ka is? Ba, ta, kaf. It's a harf of what? What does a harf of jar do? It becomes the jar, and the next guy becomes the. So do you see what happened to asf? Ka, asfin? Okay, asfin became jar. Okay, 4 properties of asfin. It's jar, definitely. Singular, definitely. No sign of feminine, masculine. Common or proper? Ma'kulin, same 4 properties. Also jar, also singular, also masculine, also common. They match. They match. So this would be noun and adjective. You've grown up enough to now know the truth. The first, yes, go ahead. Excellent question. How do you know this kaf is not the pronoun kaf? Anybody want to give an answer to that? Anybody want to try? Yes, Ali Ahmed? Go ahead, take the mic.
Because ka is an attached pronoun and it should come at the end of the word.
Harf of jar likes to be in the beginning. The attached pronoun likes to be at the end. That's how you know. Cool. Good answer, Ali. Good answer, Ali Ahmed. Okay. Al-Fawzul Kabir. Are they both, let me change the order a little bit. Are they both proper? How do you know if they're both proper? They both got al on them. Are they both rafa'? Are they both masculine? Yes. Are they both singular? Last one. I won't do the next one. I'll just do this next one, and then I'll give you something really juicy for today. Narun hamiyatun. Is nar rafa'? I think hamiyatun is also rafa'. Yeah? Nar is singular. Pretty sure it's singular. Hamiyatun is also singular. Nar is masculine. Feminine? No, nar. Why is it feminine? Because the Arabs said so on page 13. The Arabs said so on page 13. Nar is feminine. Therefore, its adjective must also be. That's why hamiyatun had to put a hijab on. Because of the nar. Okay, that made it that feminine. And that's why narun hamiyatun is like that. Got it? Yes, Rayan. Take the mic from Raifi.
So let's just say you couldn't like properly memorize it and you forgot if it was like the Arab said so. So is there any other way to tell that it's feminine?
Okay, so you forgot that it's feminine because the Arab said so. Is there any other way to remember if it's feminine? Is there any other way to remember?
I mean, other than that, but if it was like just if it was just that word,
Then
and
you won't
didn't know.
remember.
Okay.
It's just the way that it's being treated is what tells you. The neighborhood tells you.
So the word, the adjective after it,
The
then that would
adjective-
tell you that that word would be feminine.
That's right. That's right. And I gave you that whole lesson to prepare you for this. Just because you'd be like, why is nar with hamiyatun? Why is it feminine like that? So here's your, I'm going to remind you of, so this is personal for me. We have about 15 minutes. The year was 1999. God, how many years ago was that? 24 years ago? 24 years ago, 1999, I was in Queens, New York. I was in third year of college, and there was an announcement that there's going to be an Arabic class in my neighborhood by Dr. Abdul Sami, which I decided to take after having spent Ramadan with him. It was going to be a 3-week crash course, 6 days a week, 3 hours every night, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. every night for 3 weeks, only Sunday off. Okay, I used to work in the city. Flushing is all the way in Queens. I would have to take the F train to the 7 train to a bus to get to, it would be an hour and 15 minutes every day for me to get there under good circumstances, train delays, bus delays, you know how that works in New York. Anyway, so I would finish college, I would finish work, I would get on the train, I'd get to the class, and we got started. At the time, I knew how to read some Quran, I knew 0 Arabic, 0. And at the end of the first week, our teacher was done, our teacher, Dr. Abdul Sami, was done teaching us the 4 properties of the ism. And he was done teaching us some things about mudaf, mudaf ilayh, jar majroor, and nouns and adjectives. Okay, I'll give you the Arabic words for them too. The noun is called mawsuf. The noun is called what? Mawsuf. Let me give you that. Noun is mawsuf. And the adjective is called the sifa. Okay, mawsuf, sifa. So that's our fourth fragment actually. We've got mudaf, mudaf ilayh. What's our second one? Jar, majroor. We've got a third one. Harf nasb and its ism. Fourth one. Mawsuf, sifa. Mawsuf, sifa, which means noun, adjective. Okay? So we did this stuff. And then we went to pray. Maghrib. And for the first time, I understood when I was reciting it to myself, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I was like, and I got lost in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The whole Maghrib happened, I'm still thinking about, I'm doing Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, I'm still thinking what? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm stuck in it. You know why? I want to show you why, because I want that experience for you. That's what it is, isn't it? What's B? What's B? Harf of jar. That's the jar, isn't it? Okay. What's ismi? It's the majroor, isn't it? But it's also a mudaf. How do I know it's a mudaf? It's light, it doesn't have? The word Allahi is jar because it's a mudaf ilayh. You with me? Okay, what are the 4 properties of the word Allahi? 4 properties. Status. Jar. Singular. Masculine. Proper. Okay. Then the next word is ar-Rahmani. 4 properties, please. Jar. Singular. Masculine. Proper. Wait, I've already seen this. I saw jar, singular, masculine, proper already. Where? The word Allah. So what is Ar-Rahman? That must be, the word Allah must be the noun. What's the noun called? Mawsuf. And the word Ar-Rahman must be what? Sifa. And then I see Ar-Rahimi. Ar-Rahimi. 4 properties. Jar, singular, masculine. This must be another what? Sifa. Because you can have more than one adjective, right? You can have an old green car. You can have more than one adjective. And I started thinking, Ba is a harf of jar. I know that. And it made ismi jar. Ismi is a mudaf, and the word Allah became mudaf ilayh. The word Allah is mawsuf because it matches in 4 properties with Ar-Rahman and also matches in 4 properties with Ar-Rahim. And I'm standing in the salah going, I just understood an entire ayah of the Quran. A whole ayah that Allah revealed that I didn't know a week ago. I didn't know any of that. And now I know everything that's happening inside this ayah. And I can connect it all. And I kid you not, the entire salah, I'm just bawling in tears because an ayah opened up to me. I made dua at the end of that salah. Ya Allah, open up the entire Quran to me. Ya Allah, just let the entire Quran open up to me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't process how me sitting in Queens after a week is actually listening and then reciting to myself, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and a revelation of God just became untranslated, direct. I could feel it directly and know everything that's going on, even though there's so much more going on in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi wrote maybe 100 pages on just the Bismillah and what's going on with it. But at least at the most basic level, I understood the mechanics of what is happening inside this ayah. So I wanted that to be your first ayah too. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is your first ayah. What did it involve? What rules of grammar did it involve? Did you see the 4 properties in here? So did we use the first semester? Did you use 3 of the 4 fragments? Which 3 fragments did you see? You see mudaf mudaf ilayh. What else do you see? You see jar majroor. What else do you see? You see mawsuf sifa. Cool, huh? Let's go a little further. Alhamdu. We're going to skip alhamdu. We will learn alhamdu tomorrow, inshallah. So I'm skipping alhamdu for tomorrow. But we can do what? Lillahi. What is lillahi? I say it's a jar majroor. Why? What's the jar part? Li. What's the majroor part? Allahi. The word Allahi already came in Bismillah. So do you know its 4 properties? Okay? You know those 4 properties. Okay. Alhamdulillahi. What's next? Yeah? I want 4 properties of Rabb. Is it jar? 1. Masculine. Is it a mudaf mudaf ilayh? How do you know it's a mudaf mudaf ilayh? Light, no al, followed by ina, and ina could be jar, therefore it is jar. So this is a mudaf mudaf ilayh. How do you tell if a mudaf is proper or not? If the mudaf ilayh is proper, then the... Wait, what just happened? What do you see on the screen? The word Allah matches in 4 properties with the words, but Rabb is a mudaf, isn't it? And you never separate a mudaf from the, which means Rabbil Alameen, the whole thing is a sifa. Why? Because you never separate a mudaf from a mudaf ilayh. So Allah is not being described as Rabb. Allah is being described as what? Rabbil Alameen. The whole thing is one adjective, and the whole of its properties are described as jar, singular, masculine, and proper, because the mudaf is in the driver's seat. So the properties of the mudaf represent the whole thing. Okay, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. What grammar do you see so far? In Lillahi Rabbil Alameen, what pieces did you see? You see a jar majroor, Lillahi. You see a mudaf mudaf ilayh. Where do you see mudaf mudaf ilayh? Rabbil Alameen. What else do you see? Mawsuf and a complicated sifa, but still a sifa, isn't it? What's the next ayah? Ar-Rahmani. 4 properties. Ar-Rahmani. What is it? Jar? Singular? Masculine? I've seen this before. I've seen this before. What is this? What is this? Sifa number? Allah is still being described. And his second description is what? Ar-Rahmani. What's the third word? 4 properties. Jar. Singular. Masculine. I've seen this before. What's happening? This must be sifa number 3. What's the next ayah? Maliki Yawmi ad-Dini. 4 properties of Maliki Yawmi ad-Din. If you know the 4 properties of Maliki, that represents the 4 properties of the whole thing. By the way, what kind of relationship exists between Maliki and Yawmi? Mudaf and what kind of relationship exists between Yawmi and ad-Dini? Everybody see that? Mudaf and Mudaf ilayh? Okay, let's figure out 4 properties of Maliki. Status, jar, singular, masculine. How is it proper? Okay, Maliki is a mudaf, so it has to go ask who? Yom. Yom says, I got my own problems, having a hard day. Go ask Ad-Din. Ad-Din says, I am proper. Why? Which means Yom became proper, which means Malik became proper, which means, wait, jar, masculine, singular, proper. Seen this before? The word Allah is mawsoof. Rabbil Alameen is sifa number. Ar-Rahman is sifa number. Ar-Rahim is sifa number. And the whole Maliki Yawmiddin is sifa number 4. So the whole thing is a mawsoof sifa. And why is everything jar? Why is everything jar? It all started with this li, which made the mawsoof jar. And because everything had to match with the mawsoof, everything else became jar. It's just a giant jar majroor, made up of all these parts. Alhamdulillahi lillahi rabbil alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim maliki yawmiddin. If you guys enjoyed algebra or mathematics class, do you see how mathematical the Arabic language is? How calculated it is? How like everything lines up? It's amazing. It's incredible. Like the structures of, at least up until here, something's going on. I know this was a lot to take in. I know. Sit with this for a little bit. Take a picture of it. It's okay. You can take a picture. This is one of those pictures you can look at again. Take a picture of this and sit and think about it. What was said? How was it said? How do you reach this conclusion, this conclusion, this conclusion, and this conclusion? How does it all connect? What 3 fragments kept coming up? Again, I ask you, what 3 fragments kept coming up? We started with jar majroor, then we saw mawsoof, sifa, and we also saw what? Mudaf and mudaf ilayh. Powerful stuff, huh? Last comment. How many ayat are these? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, 1 ayah. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, 2 ayahs. Maliki Yawmiddin, 3 ayahs. But you know what? Grammatically, they are all 1 sentence. So in grammar, because they're all connected, aren't they? So they're connected, which means 3 ayat are going together to make what? 1 sentence, which already teaches you something about the Quran through the Fatiha. The ayat of Allah cannot be separated. You cannot look at one ayah without looking at other ayat. It's a conversation. And sometimes, just like you cannot look at a part of a sentence by ignoring other parts of a sentence, God is already teaching you from the first surah, don't take the Quran in pieces. Look at the whole thing. Keep things connected. And He teaches that lesson from just the Fatiha itself. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Enjoy your day and enjoy the Fatiha and Salah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.